What language is easy to learn? Which language is actually easy? Are you looking for the answer? If yes, then this video is just for you. Hey guys, my name is Ella. Welcome to my channel where you can find some information about languages, its learning process, and my home country, which is Latvia. If you don't know me, well, I'm a Latvian who is living here in Mexico for almost 4 years. And also I share some of my experiences of living here in Mexico in this playlist, so check it out. Let me introduce myself. So, I'm from Latvia and I have two mother tongues, which is Latvian and Russian. Both of them are my mother tongue. Now, as I moved to Mexico, I have to speak Spanish. I had known that before coming to Mexico. However, here also I'm using it on my daily basis, so it means that the level has improved. And many times the locals tell me that they are really impressed by my Spanish skills. By the way, you can check them out also on my YouTube channel where you can find a lot of videos in Spanish. And if you are learning Spanish or you want to practice, so you're most welcome to check these videos out and use it for your practice. What's interesting about this fact is that we can talk about what language is easy or difficult to learn. There is a very funny thing that I have noticed that here in Mexico many locals tell me that, the Spanish language is quite a difficult language to learn. However, you succeeded to have it on a very high level. So what's the secret? How did you do that? By the way, how I learned 5 languages that I know at the moment, I have explained in this video. So coming back to the funny fact, the locals, the Mexicans, tell me that Spanish actually is a quite difficult language to learn. And the funniest part is that back in Latvia, it is believed that Spanish is one of the easiest languages to learn. Why does that happen? And why Latvians think that Spanish actually is a very easy language to learn? Put me in the comments whether you agree with Latvians. What I have to say is that in Latvia, it's quite common to know at least something of Spanish, some very basic phrases. And also it's a very popular language, so many people learn it, like it, it's really famous. And why is it believed that it's an easy language to learn? Well, because if we compare it to, let's say, English or French or Russian or some other languages, in Spanish, the way you write things down, that's the way you read them, which, yes, makes one aspect of this language quite easy, the reading part and the pronunciation part. However, can we actually say that one language is easy or difficult to learn? Well, here I'm going to talk to you about this topic as a linguist, translator, interpreter, language teacher, and also a polyglot. There is no such thing as a difficult or an easy language to learn. All of that depends on several factors. One of them is what language is your mother language. Let's say if you want to learn Portuguese and your mother tongue is Spanish, well, most likely you're going to say that it's quite easy to learn Portuguese or Italian or French because they have the same Latin basis. Is that true for a Russian speaker, for example? Not at all. For a Russian speaking person, for example, Polish or Czech or Ukrainian, something like that, these languages would be easy to learn, well, relatively easy. Why? Because it's quite similar to your mother tongue, so that's why it seems to be easier. That's where this facility comes from. However, talking about these similarities, sometimes it's a very good thing because, well, it's quite easy to learn the vocabulary. Basically, it's very similar. Maybe there are so many grammar similarities, pronunciation, whatever, so there are less aspects that you have to actually learn. However, the bad thing about this, or a challenging part, is that because of the fact that it's quite similar, sometimes even without noticing, you may make some mistakes and you won't even notice that. And the worst part is that people are going to understand you anyway because, well, the idea is clear what you're going to transmit, what you want to say. Let's say if a Mexican speaks to a Brazilian and says some words in Spanish, some words in Portuguese, well, most likely they are going to understand each other. And in this case, it's harder to actually understand that, well, I'm mispronouncing some words or I'm using a Spanish grammar in a foreign language, which, well, obviously should be corrected. But still, if I can be understood, well, maybe I will not pay so much attention to this fact. On the contrary, in my case, for example, if I wanted to express something in Spanish or I want to express something in Spanish, my mother tongues, Latvian or Russian, are not going to be quite helpful to me in this case because they're absolutely different. So in this case, I am forced to say it correctly in the Spanish language just to be understood. So this is, let's say, kind of a danger of these similarities between the languages. So on the one hand, the fact that these languages are similar is a great plus and great advantage, and on the other hand, you really should be very careful with your speech and not just transform your mother tongue to the other language style. Another important thing to bear in mind is that everything depends on the level you want to achieve in certain language. For example, if you want to say that I can say hi, how are you doing in 30 languages, well, it's going to be quite easy. But that's not the same if you really want to learn a language. So most probably in this case, there are not going to be 30 languages, but less. However, you're going to know them quite well. So yes, everything, absolutely everything depends on your purpose and what you actually want. And perhaps the most important fact is that no language can be said that it's difficult or easy to learn because everything depends on your motivation. For example, if you are struggling for years with some foreign language, well, think about it. Maybe you do not really have a very good motivation to actually learn it because, well, you don't really need it. But let's imagine another situation. Let's say in 6 months you are about to move to Germany. And well, Germans actually only speak German. They do not like English so much. And so you realize that no other language is going to be quite helpful to you. In this case, you are forced in a very short time period learn a new language. And I bet you are going to be quite successful in that. Why? Because you have a very strong motivation. You want to communicate, you will have to communicate with people, and you will have to understand what they reply to you, what's written around you, and this could be as a very good and very strong motivation. Another example could be, I really want to understand Jackie Chan's movies, so in this case, maybe my motivation is not so strong, but I really want to understand his new movie as soon as possible in Chinese. So that's why that's, let's say, my motivation to learn Chinese, and I'm going to use it just to understand it as much as possible and as soon as possible. And in this case, let's be honest, we won't be thinking, oh, this language is so easy or so difficult, because another secret is that the more time you spend with that language, the easier it seems to be, or you can learn it faster. And not because it's easy, that's because you are actually dedicating quite a lot of time for that language, which is the key to success. So by summing up, we can say that actually, yes, there is no such thing as a difficult or easy language to learn. There might be some easy part of certain language, let's say the grammar might be easy or maybe the pronunciation might be easy. However, that's just one of the aspects, and what distinguishes us humans from online translators and dictionaries, well, is that we do not just learn the words in one language and then in another language. Well, for that we actually do have many machine translation tools, etc. But for some reason nowadays translators and interpreters are really required, because we humans have this extra ability to translate or interpret the ideas from one language to another one. So when we are learning a new language, we're not learning just words, we are learning a new way of thinking. It's really important to understand how people who speak that language think. This is going to help us to express ourselves in a natural way for that language, and also understand why people are expressing themselves the way they're expressing themselves, because, well, they think differently and they see the world in a different way. So this is one of my favorite parts of the languages. You really have to be quite flexible. You have to adapt yourself to different circumstances, quite different to yours, and also you should be really open open-minded, to be able to change the basis which was supposed to be like normal for you, because what's normal for me, let's say in Latvia, it's not normal here for Mexicans. And this is great. This is wonderful, really, to see all these kind of differences that first of all we can see through a language. So when people ask me what language is easy to learn, well, once again, it depends on your mother tongue, and it also depends on your purpose of learning a new language, and also your motivation for that and your interest. Really, find a good motivation for learning that language, and if you are spending so many years struggling with the same one, it means that you are not really inspired to learn it. So then look for motivation, or maybe look for another language which is going to inspire you and interest much more. So guys, I really hope that you have enjoyed this video. If yes, then well, subscribe to my channel and share this video with your friends, and also check on some other videos that I have here on my YouTube channel. That would be all for today. See you soon in the next video.